Hello, I am going to talk to you about cashbooks. So it's really important that all local groups keep an accurate record of their income and expenditure. Obviously, your bank statements will give so much of this, but they don't give an itemised breakdown of where money has come from and what you're spending it on. And it's really important that we can be accountable for those things. So the cash book will itemise this and helps us to keep a track. So I'll share my screen with you. And this is a version of the cash book. It's a slightly older version, but it's still the same year on year apart from small tweaks. So you will start on the start of year tab and you'll fill in the yellow boxes. So your group name, any balances on the 31st of December in your bank accounts. So let's, for argument's sake, say we've got £150 in there. And then any of these things that are relevant, including sort of checks that haven't been cleared. And that is your start of year sort of setup. And then it's quite straightforward. So if we go into the income tab, you will see here that you've got the date column, details, paying in slip number, whether it's cleared the bank and whether it's restricted. So let's say that we took money from our exercise class in January. So 27th of the 1st, 2024. Our details, so January exercise income, we had 12 people, let's say. Try and put as much information in there as possible, but do try and avoid people's names because then we're covered under data protection. You would pop in the paying in slip number here that it's gone on, and you may have more than one transaction on the same paying in slip number. So let's say on the 28th of the 1st, 2024, you may have also taken donations for tea and coffee group meeting. So that's totally fine if they're on the same paying in slip number. And this is where it's important that we itemise it on the cash book, because on your bank statement, anything on that paying in slip number is just going to come through as a total. So has it cleared the bank or not? Chances are you'll be putting this in, prior to getting your bank statement. So you would say no. And then when your bank statement comes through and you can see this on there, you would change that to yes. Restricted income, it's really important that we account on this. So you would put in there if it was restricted income. I'm going to say no on these, but there will be another video explaining restricted income to explain that if you're not sure. And then it's quite simple. We are going to go along the column here, and there's a number of different titles that you can put your income into. So your January exercise income, for example, would go in the column that is called exercise activities. It's a group activities. You're running an exercise class. We would put it in there. So let's say it's £60, and you can see it totals up here. Our donations for tea and coffee at the group meeting. This is going to be income from your social activities or your meetings. So let's say we have £20. Everyone's put a couple of pounds in. You can also put multiple things on the same line. So we might say Bridget Loeb, group membership, donation and spring outing payment. You'd of course pop your date in. So we'll do that 24. And we were working on the 28th here. Chances are this is on the same paying in slip number. Has it cleared the bank? It would start as no. This is not restricted income. And you can split it up on here. So we've got a column saying membership collected locally for the local group. Let's say your annual membership fee is £10. She's also given us a donation, and this is just a general donation of, let's say, £50, very generous. And finally, if we move along, she's paid us for an outing. So we can see the column here, and let's say the outing is £20. And what we can see here is that it's totaled up in this grey column. Really useful. So you know that you received £80 from Bridget Lowe, and that is all accounted for in there, but we've got it in the right columns so that when it comes to reporting back on this, when you submit your annual financial return, we can say X amount was spent on holidays and outings. And for you guys as well, if we have, let's say we've come into the February exercise income, so we'll say this was the 24th of the 2nd, 2024. You can come in, this would be a different paying in slip number. Has it cleared the bank? Not yet. Bridget Lowe's has by now. Is it restricted? No. Move along, exercise activities. We only had 11 people this time. And we're going to come along to exercise activities here and pop in £55 even, 11 people. That's £55 at £5 a head. And if we scroll down to the bottom of this column, you can see there's lots of spaces for you to do lots of transactions if needed. It has totaled that up for us, and it said we've taken £115 from exercise activities in 2024 so far. And obviously at the end of the year, you can see there what you've taken in. So really quite straightforward. If we move to expenditure, very same principle. So let's say on the 30th of January, 2024, we've got our exercise instructor fees. You would pop your check number in there. Whether it's cleared the bank, same principle, no, until you see it come up on your bank statement. Is it restricted? And you would find the relevant column along here, just exercise activities, and we pay £50 for that instructor each session. I'm making these numbers up, so it's not based on any sort of real payments that we're making. And if we add in the exercise instructor fees for February, again, as I said, really helpful to put as much information in as possible. While you have the date in there, if you were looking for something in particular, it might be easier just to scan through that details column. So 28th of the 2nd, 2024, different check number. Has it cleared the bank? No. Is it restricted? No. We can go in here, chances are it's £50 again. It's going all the way down to the bottom. You can see that's totaled that up for you. So you would do this throughout the year with all transactions that come in and out. We suggest doing it at least quarterly, but I would recommend if you are a group with quite a lot of activities, a lot of transactions going through, definitely try and do it more often. And the reason is because the less transactions you have to put in at a time, the less chance there is of making a mistake, but also the easier it is to find where the mistake is, if there is one. If you've saved it for 3 months and you have 70 different transactions to put in, then any mistakes you've got to find it in those 70 transactions. If you do it monthly and you've only got sort of 21 or so, it's much easier to find. But do what works for you. So that is the cash book. And if we go to the financial report, you can see here that you would update the date, and you can see it's totaled up here. We've received £50 in general donations, 115 in exercise, and there's our outgoings as well, £100 expenditure for exercise. So this report is a really good one just to print off for your lead volunteer meetings and say this is where we're at the moment. And if we scroll down to the bottom, if you pop your bank balance in, any petty cash you hold, then this should be green. Now I've just put numbers in, so it's red at the moment, but if you've done it accurately, this will come up green.